everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Fourtress of, a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games and lots of pop culture nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, are two of your other hosts, Alex and Brian. Hello, fellas.
What up?
Hello.
What up? What up?
I have a cat staring at me really menacingly, like behind my computer right now. It's kind of freaking me out.
Don't look
He's gonna eat
in
you in
his
the night.
eyes.
What are you doing? Darkness.
Is it also a black cat?
Yes, it is also a black cat, so I'm very scared.
Yeah,
He might
it's
rob
gonna
me.
eat you.
Get you.
Oh, eat
He's
me,
might
huh?
rob me.
We had different ideas here.
We did. We both went different ways. All right. Thank you, listeners, for hanging out with us. Just real quick. Check all the time codes for anything you want to avoid or skip to. I'm just gonna try to do this at the head of every episode instead of having to say it 87 times throughout the episode. So check the time codes for anything you want to know. With that being said, you guys want to jump right into it?
Let's
Hell
do it.
yeah.
News talk.
All right. First news story. It's over, guys. The legacy is ended. Call of Duty's dead forever. It's never coming back.
God, I hope so.
Yay.
I mean, oh no, Call of Duty, no.
So, according to Bloomberg, sources have said that Call of Duty 2023, not this year, but next year's Call of Duty is going to not come out. It's going to skip a year, which would break Call of Duty's 18-year streak of releasing a game that everyone enjoys and loves. Just think is the best every year after year.
I will not be upset. That's fine.
Take more time with it. I mean, it sucks
Yeah.
because Modern Warfare was very good. Like, it was a very well received game. Of course, Warzone.
I actually enjoyed that. Yeah.
I enjoyed it too. I actually, that was the last Call of Duty I bought in a long time. Of course, Cold War was
Still haven't gotten it.
pretty lukewarm for a lot of people. Most people didn't. And then Vanguard, the most recent one, is fucking awful. People hate it. So so badly that like they're struggling when it comes to even having like a competitive scene and stuff because no one wants to watch anyone play it. So
Oh, damn.
yeah,
I kind of enjoyed. I played the beta and I thought that was kind of fun,
Mhm.
but like I still didn't get it.
yeah, it's so bad that I've seen people actually go over to start playing Halo now and compete in that because they were just so bored with Call of Duty.
I struggled to see the difference between them all. The only like things that I ever really enjoyed playing of Call of Duty were like the zombie modes, which
Yeah.
isn't in all the games and is definitely not like the big point of the game, but it's only parts that were like super fun to me. But
Right.
aside from that, they all kind of blend together to one like endless game that's always out.
I always enjoyed. I think I fell off Call of Duty once they started doing like the super kind of high techy space stuff
Mhm.
because I was just like, it was in that mode where everyone was doing that. Like Destiny came out, it was coming out at the same time. And I was just like, I am so Titanfall. I was so sick of these like high tech space gun laser shooter shit. I was just
Yeah.
like, and then when they went back to Modern Warfare in 2018, I think, or something.
20, it might have been
I was like,
2016.
oh,
No,
this is what I
2016,
was looking for. Like this felt refreshing. I enjoyed the story for the most part, and like it was felt like an old school like blockbuster movie, kind of like what took Call of Duty to the fucking limit, which was Modern Warfare, the first one, the Call of Duty 4. That one is still one of the best games and Call of Duty games ever made. Was that first Modern Warfare?
Definitely one of the best console shooters of all time.
I know a lot of people like the story in that one.
Super cool.
Yeah, it was just like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
It was over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember playing that one. That was pretty fun.
But yeah, so I think it's good. It's good that the studio will get the time, hopefully they need to make something like not the same every year.
Right. It's like making a pop album, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you could probably do better, but you can also make a ton of money doing something pretty, like giving about a 6 out of 10. Why not go ahead and try for a little bit longer? Maybe give us an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. Like that's
Right.
I'm all for it.
I do wonder if this is coming from if any of this has anything to do with the Microsoft acquisition.
Mm.
And maybe this delay gives Sony another. Maybe they don't get 2023's Call of Duty if it had come out then anymore, because by the time this one comes out in 2024, that cutoff is hit. So it's like Microsoft, we'll give you one Call of Duty game this year and then no more. You're not gonna get a free pass on it.
Yeah, that's actually a great point because that's when everything will probably end up being finalized. Is going to be next year. So at this point, they don't technically own Activision yet. So
right,
you make it. Yeah, it's probably something around that.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. I could see them doing it.
We will see. Stay tuned.
Call of Duty's dead. Here first.
Killzone, hell yeah.
Next up, this is just kind of funny because I'm not really a big Street Fighter person, but Street Fighter 6 was announced with a particular logo that everyone seemed to have quite an opinion on, which is very funny. One, it's a bad logo. It's a bad logo for Street Fighter. If you've seen every other Street
Yeah,
Fighter
they
logo.
changed their logo, right? They like why do you need to change things this late in the game?
And I mean, you can change things, but like change things and keep the essence of it. Like Street Fighter has always been a very graffiti-esque looking kind of, vision, very like
It's like hyper colored
Right.
and everything.
It's like kind of
Japanese
like
character.
simplistic and modern. It's just like the 2 letters, right?
yeah, they amplified it. They
Mm.
amplified this logo
they
in
they
the
did.
worst way possible.
Well, to be fair, they Adobe'd it.
Adobe, yes, because it's been noted that it looks like they got this from Adobe Stock Image Store, which is available for an extended license of $80.
I mean, yeah,
Yep.
anybody can take those images and tweak them a little bit. Bam, bam,
Which
bam, bam,
hilariously enough to me means that somebody caught the motherfucking bag with this. Somebody showed a portfolio of probably nothing but bullshit anyway. Hopefully it was bullshit. And then they were like, I can make you a logo. Got this, $80, probably made thousands of dollars for making this logo
Yep.
for Street Fighter 6.
And they just added a little 6 in the corner.
You go off, King. You fucking secured that bag. No, it's only the logo right now, but this does not bode well for the fighting game community or Street Fighter 6, considering Street Fighter 5 was considered a commercial failure by most people.
Was it really?
Yeah, people did not
Oh,
like
shit.
that game. They thought it was clunky and just didn't work right, and it was pretty stupid. So,
Ooh.
coming
Damn.
off of an already bad game and then already having a logo that looks like this and was potentially stolen, it's not looking great
Yeah,
for Street Fighter.
that's not
so
a good
far.
start.
Right.
I can't believe this still happens. Shit like this still happens.
In such a
It's
high
like, I can't-
profile.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like companies, I get it. It's like that thing where like you get so powerful, you're blind to the minutia type of shit, which is ridiculous to think about. But it's like, how could you not think that somebody would find this? It's the internet. They find everything.
Yeah, what was it that I
Yeah.
saw recent? Was it like a Magic the Gathering card or something? Or it's like the design for a Magic the Gathering card was just something ripped straight from a deviant artist, and he was just kind of like, "Yo, can I get an ad or something? Like let them know
I get
that I
some
made
royalties.
this." Right? And they were just like, "You didn't make this," and he was like, "I literally have all the files to show exactly how I created this monster.
my
Like you didn't even
goodness.
try. You added one head to it, and it looks bad. Like what,
Wow.
what did you do? It was something
Mm.
like that. It's just ridiculous. But you see it all the time. Aaron Carter has something like that. I don't know if you guys remember that whole debacle where he had stolen
No.
an artist and stole somebody's art and then used it for his either for a Spotify picture or it was for like an actual album. But the person was like, "Yo,
Oh shit.
can I get a shout out?" And he was like, "Nah, fuck you, idiot!" And he was like going into their DMs and like screaming all this nonsense. Yeah, it was really bad. He almost got
Oh shit.
hella canceled off from that, even though he's already
Well, that makes sense.
he's already nobody. He's got tattoos on his face
Wow.
now. So
Oh yeah.
don't steal art.
I know. Like also like make it. You could have made something better than this. Like
Or if you at least
what are
steal
you
art, steal the
doing?
better ones.
Like right.
No, the best thing was the Twitter thread of just people making their own version of the Street Fighter art, and it was like, I don't know, Google text, just straight Arial font, or it's like,
It turns into word art.
yeah, the PowerPoint word art, that's just Street
Yes.
Fighter 6 and shit like that.
Oh, that's good.
It was amazing watching people just
Oh, that's so
can
good.
this so bad.
Just make another Marvel versus Capcom instead.
I'd be down.
Give me
for
another
that.
one of those.
I'm ready
I
for
think
that.
go ahead and retire this for now, and let's go back to Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah. Ugh.
I just wonder if their logo looks this bad and like they didn't try this hard on their logo, like it just doesn't bode well for the series and the game. Potentially.
Yeah.
Because that's like someone had to sign off on this. This had to go through some sort of email chain, and someone had to give the last thumbs up before it
Yeah.
went to print.
Not looking good.
Right. Like this is the title of your game, bro. Like, yikes. Ugh. That's pretty bad. Next up, this was just kind of fun and nostalgia filled. Fucking Arthur ended.
I didn't know the show was ever
Like-
ended.
I didn't know that show was still going on.
Yeah. Me
I
either.
love Arthur though. I'm here for it. Like that show was my jam growing up. It's kind of sad to see it's
25
over,
years.
but I also didn't really know it was still happening.
I was about to say, when's the last time you watched Arthur?
Yeah, it's
A couple of
probably
years
like
ago.
Yeah, because I remember they had the
Not
gay
that long
marriage,
ago.
and everyone got really upset about that because one of the teachers.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, that was the last time I heard about Arthur, but I didn't know that it was
Yeah,
like
probably
they
same
were ready
here.
to end it at that point.
It still holds up. I can't remember. It was on some streaming platform that I was using at the time, and I saw it on there. Yeah, I was watching a couple of episodes. It still holds up. The old ones, still a great
Yeah.
show.
Nothing makes me happier than when DW gets her shit punched in for throwing his his airplane, and she was like, "It wasn't gonna fly anyway." It's like,
Oh, did Arthur punch her?
yeah. He
Oh,
said, "I
no,
told
I
you
forgot about
not
that.
to touch it." and just whacks him.
Dang, Arthur. Ooh, that's pretty savage. I don't know.
It was
I don't
pretty,
know about
pretty
that.
bad, but it's a good episode.
I do not remember that.
Oh man.
Don't punch your sister.
That's where that meme comes from with the hand, of just that hand. That was yeah.
Oh, with the clenched fist
yeah.
thing.
That's
that makes
brutal.
Sense. He's an aardvark. It's different law of the land there.
This whole time I thought he was an anteater. I was fighting with someone about that last weekend, and I was like, he's an aardvark.
Oh really?
What the fuck is an aardvark?
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and now they're pretty disgusting.
Arthur.
Well, it's like the same thing of that Knuckles and Echidna.
Right.
Is he? Sure. Why not?
He's got 4 penises. Kid's canon.
Did any of you guys watch this last episode?
I didn't. I wanted to.
I didn't either. I tried to get it in before recording, but I didn't.
I saw
so
some
I just caught
stuff
some
about
grabs.
it just because I was curious. I didn't read too much into it, but it seems like Arthur is basically like a comic book writer or like a graphic novelist or something, and he's like illustrating the story that we all watched growing up of Arthur.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a flash forward. Yeah.
There's a flash forward, and
yeah, it's
DW
flash
is a
forward.
fucking cop.
Yeah.
And of course she is. She's the biggest tattletale I even knew as a child. Even
Biggest
as a child,
rat.
I was like, man, homegirl's a fucking narc, man. And now look at her. Now it's her whole occupation.
It's so funny though. Yeah, no, like I think the flash forward, like a lot of shows do, but it's cool to see with the kids show. I feel like the last time I saw it was like when they did that Rugrats all grown up shit.
That was a miss though. That was not that didn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
It's weird.
They did a whole series and it just was pretty lame.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It's cool to see like 25 years. You can see like a much bigger growth and see what they've accomplished and stuff.
I mean,
which is
basically,
kind of
he would be our age, right? Like, and that's kind of weird because we grew up with him.
Yeah,
so
kinda,
that's probably what they're trying to do, right?
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I'm not a fan of Arthur's hipster hair, but it's fine.
I mean, he looks like what you would think a podcaster would look like, and we sit here on this podcast. So I don't know, man. Arthur could have been a 4th. Maybe he could replace Devin.
A 4th.
Sorry, Devin.
Sorry,
You're
Devin.
cut off.
We don't need a white man. We got an aardvark instead.
we got an aardvark.
Damn.
Also, fun thing I saw, because I was also going through like a Twitter thread of all these people like crying about it, was that apparently the original voice of Arthur did the voice of older Arthur in the flash forward as well.
That's
So I thought
cool.
that was kind of cool.
Good homage.
That, and then the creator of the show, whose name is escaping me right now, I can't remember, but he makes an appearance in the show as the librarian that gives young Arthur like his how to draw book. And so like what inspires him to be a graphic artist and everything.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's
Good
pretty
for you,
cool.
man.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Can't believe it's over. Couldn't believe that it was still going. But either way.
I got to revisit it now. Now I want to watch it.
Yeah, me too.
I want to watch at least this last one. Yeah. So cool. What a legacy that who knew that it was still happening. Congratulations to Arthur. 25 years though. They're only second to Simpsons though for like longest running cartoon show.
That's
though.
wild. To think
Like
about.
that's wild. Good for them.
Yeah, bravo.
Awesome. That's about it. That covers the news of the week. Bit of a slow week, but you know, shit happens.
Or doesn't.
Deal with it. Shall we move on to our main topic of the week that we have definitely recorded the same time as right now?
Don't call us out like that.
All right. It's time for our main topic of the week, guys. But first, we've done it again. We're trapped. We're trapped in a fortress. It's filled with a lot of purple. So a lot of cool trick arrows, and it's filled with a character that everyone loves and adores. Because we're in the
Aw.
fortress of
Jeremy
Hawkeye.
Renner tries to be brooding
Jeremy
again.
Renner.
Arrow guy. Legolas. Buck up, Legolas. Mhm.
Legless, but make
Yes.
it emo.
So we are in the fortress of Hawkeye, the Disney Plus show. We're gonna kind of quickly talk about that because I'm just gonna straight up go out first and say no spoilers for real quick. This might be my favorite Marvel Disney Plus show
Whoa.
by the end of it.
Whoa.
Wow.
Like,
Hey,
I'm
yo,
not-
hey,
Pump the
yo.
I'm not
brakes.
gonna
Pump
lie.
the brakes.
I'm not gonna lie, it might be my favorite. For multiple reasons. One of them being WandaVision's ending kind of fucked it for me. It's just purple and pink lightning getting shot at each other is kind of boring. Loki was fine. It was cool. I still think I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier, probably for the same reason I like Hawkeye, and the fact that it's just kind of a straight up standard story. There's not very many twists and crap that I got to worry about, and I don't care. because I already knew it was gonna happen, so it's not really a twist for me. Which is there is a twist in this show. We'll get into it, but I don't know. Maybe I just liked it. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I just really enjoyed the hell out of the show and how it was just a fun action comedy the whole time.
That's cool.
We should probably say, out of the 4 of us, 3 of us have watched it, and
Correct.
then 1 person has not.
It's me. I
watched
didn't
it.
watch it. I said a while back when the show was first coming out that I was probably not going to watch it because it didn't look very interesting.
And you stuck to it.
I stuck to it. I'm a man of my word. And no, I was honestly just really busy and I just chose to not watch it yet. But
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of great things similar to like how Oscar is feeling about it. I've heard that from a couple other people. So I'll see how this conversation goes. Maybe I can be swayed to give it a chance.
Yeah. It's only 6 episodes. So.
Yeah.
And that was 100% not to call you. I was going to be like, he didn't watch it. That kind of situation. It was more that the fact that like I was 100% on the same board as you. As the fans probably know, I'm not a Hawkeye fan, nor am I a super huge Jeremy Renner fan. I think
What?
he does. What? Brian doesn't like Jeremy Renner. Whatever. I watched this show, and this was actually one of the few Marvel shows thus far, and that just might have been the way that my life had been during this time, that I've actually watched as it came out, that I did not have to binge it or do anything like that. Like, I watched it every week. I kept up
And
with
he
it.
wasn't forced to by
I
this
wasn't forced to,
podcast. He
exactly,
just
because
watched
we
it.
weren't even thinking about talking about this show as a whole, because we thought it was going to be pretty mid. And I will say that I had a good time. I won't say it's the best thing on earth, but I do think that it was pretty strong in a lot of ways. I mean, I felt pretty connected to it more so than like, maybe even WandaVision.
Word.
Yeah.
Wow.
I put Loki probably top for me, and then maybe this, and then maybe WandaVision.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's with Falcon and Winter Soldier having a black man in it, so you know that shit gotta be.
I think Brian, the way you said it, a good time. I think that's a good thing, right, to review it. Like, I think it was nice that it was low stakes. It's nice to not have the whole universe or the entire space-time continuum at stake for once. It was kind of nice to just have like, let's just save like one person, and then kind of being
Right.
lighthearted and kind of more goofy than the other shows. So I think I enjoyed that part of it. I do like, I don't know. I think the climax felt like it was a little rushed, and like there were some things that were kind of like, kind of made me raise my eyebrow. But for the most part, enjoyed it. Would not go back to watch it again, but I did enjoy it. It was enjoyable.
Word.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Nice.
my biggest thing personally is just really Marvel fatigue being a thing right now. I do think it's very real, and I think we're trying to ignore it because we do like Marvel stuff so much just as a community, as people. But I do think that it was nice to get, like you said, away from that. God, that fucking high stakes nonsense that everything's been so far. And I think phase 4 is going to be a lot of that. So it's nice that this probably is like one break before we start getting into like the real shit. Shit. As we've kind of seen from other things that have come out thus far. So
I think, like in that way, Jeremy Renner kind of was us, the audience, in a lot of ways, because you could tell the whole
Tired
time
of
he's
shit?
just kind of over it. He's like, all I want to do is go home and be at home with on Christmas with my family.
yeah, I don't want to kiss my wife and fucking open some presents,
Right.
bro. Come
I don't
on.
want to be
And, like,
here anymore.
Yeah. And in that way, it's like, it's like, oh gosh, but it was nice that it was, kind of lower stakes. Should we like summarize it for Alex? Like,
Devin, if you want to take a crack at it, go for it. Yeah.
okay, spoiler alert.
Spoilers from here on. You hear what I hear, so spoilers from here on about it.
Okay, so spoiler alert. All right, ready, Alex? Here's the brief synopsis. All right, from what I can
All right, I'm
remember.
ready.
Okay, so it starts out. All right, it's Kate. The story's about Kate Bishop, who's basically another archer but younger, and she gets inspired to be an archer when she sees Hawkeye do that goofy like jump thing in the first Avengers movie. He like jumps in through that window when everybody else is
he
like
was cool,
getting
man.
blasted by aliens, and so she trains to be an archer. Her dad dies in the New York attack. Trains to be an archer, gets in trouble when she's at a black market auction and she sees Hawkeye's Ronin suit, which, if you remember from Endgame, he was like going on a rampage, killing a bunch of gangsters.
Oh yeah.
So she dresses
He
up
also
in
had
the
a
Ronin
really
suit.
cool haircut from a really lame barber.
Right. So she dresses up in the Ronin suit and she fights some people. And then from that moment on, everybody thinks that she is Ronin, and they're trying to chase her down because of, to atone for what she's done. So, like, she killed, because of what the Ronin did, which was Hawkeye, obviously. And then some stuff happens. There's some car chases. well, maybe somebody else should finish it off because I kind of got lost.
It sounds fascinating.
I mean,
Wow,
the story-
Devin. You couldn't have made Hawkeye sound more boring.
There's some car chases. There's some arrow shots.
Yeah,
and I
there's
don't know.
there's
And
some
then
cool
they
arrow
said that-
shots. The
we'll
sister,
get into
the
a
sister
lot
from
of the stuff. Yeah.
yeah, anyway.
I mean, ultimately, it's about Hawkeye having to kind of get. It's him dealing with his mistakes he made as Ronin, killing a shit ton
I
of
was
people and
like-
fucking the underground mob and the mafia up.
I would say ultimately it's about Black Widow and how her death
Yes.
impacts a lot of others. If we want to
Mhm.
really get into
Yes.
those spoiler alerts about that kind of shit. Because
Yeah.
that's what I learned as someone that never watched Black Widow because I had no interest in that movie as a whole. This show
Right.
impacts a lot of what apparently happens in that movie and a lot of around Black Widow and Natasha's storyline in those movies, which is interesting considering a lot of people had issues with Black Widow and when it came out, which I know COVID was an issue, a lot of things were an issue, but apparently it came out too late, and that was a big reason why people had
Mhm.
It
struggles.
should have
with
come
the-
out before Endgame.
right, which completely understand. But yeah, I do
Yeah.
know there's a lot around that, and I think that's where that show really starts getting interesting, because it starts doing what all movie like Marvel shows and movies do, where they kind of interlace between each other. And
Yeah.
this was one of the stronger ones. I think. it
And I
comes down
think
to.
that's why this was probably my favorite one. Is that one? I always root for an underdog. Let's face it, Hawkeye's the underdog in everything he's done.
Mhm.
Two, I like that this is the first MCU show that's dealt with an OG Avenger. Like everyone else has been like a newbie in a sense, and this guy has been there since the beginning. And also, this is the first show where it's from someone who's never got snapped. Every other show was from someone who was snapped out of existence and lost
Oh,
5 years of their
interesting.
life. So it was a person dealing with that. And also, three, because this show is a eulogy to Black Widow that she deserved and never got in any other Marvel thing. Because in
yeah.
Endgame, they're just like, yeah, she's dead. We're more focused on Tony's death than anything else.
All right.
And then her own movie, obviously, she's alive, so there's not much to it there. And so I really appreciated how much they kind of like this was her send off, also in some way, as well.
Mhm.
With that, let's talk about her sister Yelena, who was in Black Widow,
Mhm.
is in this show. She makes an appearance. Because
Holy
I don't know,
shit.
she's she's awesome.
I
Yeah.
love her.
She
She
was
is my
very
favorite
cool.
character, and she'd probably be my favorite character when I do eventually watch Black Widow. But God,
Yes.
Florence Pugh is so fucking good as an actor. She's just
She is.
so likable as a character in this
Mhm.
show, and I'm assuming a character in Black Widow because I asked Oscar about it as soon as I saw her in like the first episode she showed up in. I texted Oscar and I was like, "Is this how she's like? Like, is this what it's like?" And he's like, "Yeah, she keeps that kind of humor on." I was like,
Mhm.
God, this is good. Like every single time she showed up on the screen, she was just infectious, and that really
Yeah,
grabbed
she
me.
really,
A whole
her
lot.
accent might be a little more caricature in this than in Black Widow, but it's funny.
If it wasn't playing another white person, I'd probably be more offended. But since it's whatever, it's white.
I wonder how
adjacent.
long she's gonna have it for.
Yeah.
before it just becomes
Until she turns
yeah.
into a Wanda and just kind of drops it as time goes on. Like,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, fucking Doctor Strange is still pretending that he wasn't just a normal ass doctor before he started talking like a fucking, Tolkien book.
Yeah. But yeah, so like she's in this, and like if people who hadn't seen Black Widow, at the end of Black Widow, the end or mid credit scene, one of the two, you see her at Black Widow's grave, and homegirl from Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Seinfeld, Julia Louis
And
Dreyfus,
Seinfeld.
yeah,
Seinfeld.
and a lot of other things. She comes up to her and basically tells her that Hawkeye killed Black Widow, and so Yelena shows up in the show trying to kill Hawkeye because that's what she thinks. Which is like, I get it, but also like, can he explain himself? Like, come
Right.
on,
Right.
because
Mhm.
apparently also everyone knows she's dead. Like, so does the world know what happened? Like, it's
Right.
kind of weird, like
Hmm.
the status of how many people know exactly what happened in Endgame or Infinity War and Endgame, and
Mhm.
like the whole snapping and having to get the stones. Like, it seems like a lot of people know all of this shit, but it's
Yeah.
weird. It's
You
weird.
didn't know there was fucking TMZ was on the scene on the fucking another planet with a camera out, like, oh shit, holy shit,
Oh,
he
Black
snapped,
Widow just
bro. What
fell.
the fuck?
Oh
Yeah,
my
no.
God. You see
Right.
that? Yeah, I mean, like this. I feel like that was kind of one of the nice things about the show is you got kind of more than anything else, like what people on the ground think of the Avengers and the kind of their perspective. Like it comes into the focus with like the LARPers, right? So the LARPers know who he is immediately. when he walks
Mhm.
up to to get his suit back, and which by the way was one of the highlights of the show for me when he's like sitting
So
there and
good.
he's like, I fought Thanos, and the guy's like, just let me kill you, like with a rubber sword, and he's like, and you sit there thinking to himself like, I literally fought Thanos, and now I'm gonna die in LARPing, like, because that's pretty funny. But yeah, like everybody kind of knew his face, and so yeah, you got kind of more perspective, the people on the ground of of the Marvel universe, which
a lot of Thanos was right. Cups and stickers everywhere.
Oh,
So it's like,
yeah.
there's a lot of the world thinking that maybe 50% of the population should have gotten snapped out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I did like how it's very much like a personal boots on the ground kind of story with Hawkeye, and the fact that he is like a dude. And I like how they have that montage of him when she asks how he loses his hearing, because he has a hearing aid on for most of the show, and it's a big point of reference.
Oh,
that
wow.
oh yeah, he got hurt doing all the crazy Avenger shit, and he's like, I honestly don't know when I lost my hearing. It could have been a million different explosions.
They just took it through. By the way, can we quickly touch on Rogers the musical?
Oh, I was gonna save it to the end, but yeah, we can go now.
Okay. Well, yeah,
That's something that I almost wanted to watch the show just because I kept hearing about this musical piece.
It's the best, worst thing I've ever seen.
Yep. That kind of sums it up.
Intrigue.
I was kind of cringing a little bit watching it, but I don't know. It was kind of fun.
It's 100% what Broadway would do, though, which is why I loved it. But it's a garbage song.
Yeah, not a very good song.
And that's why I love it. It feels like for Marvel, this is like the closest thing we had to like what would actually happen if superheroes existed in our universe. We would 100%
Right.
capitalize on it. Make Broadway shows that fucking suck on it. Like, it would be awful, and it'd be so amazingly awful.
Was in the TV show, was the musical supposed to be bad? Did the characters acknowledge it and we're like, oh, that was kind of
Yes.
silly?
Absolutely, yes.
Hawkeye hates it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because I was like, well, it's Disney. Like, they could probably afford to find like a great like songwriter, right, to make a hit song. But I guess they didn't want to.
Probably.
No, it was purposely made.
I think
bad.
they kind of wanted to make it bad on purpose.
You guys remember that episode in Avatar? It's
Yes,
like
it's-
the just before the finale, and they do like a the classic highlights type of episode.
yeah.
And you see a play that recaps the last
It's very
3
much
seasons.
Mhm.
that. Aang's reaction is about the same as.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's perfect.
No,
Yeah.
It's like
pretty good.
it's so like exactly like, or they just don't know what's going on, in the sense that Ant-Man is there at the Battle of New York.
Yeah.
Hawkeye's like, he wasn't there. What the hell what is happening?
Ugh.
But it's like they got like legit Broadway people to do it. Like they took it so seriously, which I loved. Like
I heard about that.
the main singer in it is Adam Pascal, who was in the original Broadway and off Broadway of Rent. He played Roger. So like they got like top of the line people to do it, and they took it so deadly seriously, which is why I think it's so good. But it's just such a goofy song, and it's hilarious in every way. And I love at the end credit scene for this show is just the entire performance in its entirety, so you can have them watch the whole thing, which I thought was
Oh,
so
wow.
damn funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, because they only show a snippet of it in the first episode, but you get to watch the whole thing at the end. Which is
Mhm.
cool.
And it's rough.
Sick.
It's
amazing.
purposely rough, but it's rough.
I think
It'll
it's
definitely get
perfectly-
stuck in your head. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it was intentionally kind of bad, but anyway. But yeah, it kind of started the show on the right foot. And then I don't know, getting more into Kate's story, like I do like Kate Bishop. I think she had to grow on me a little bit, like as the story go on.
I mean, I like her. I think Haley Steinfeld is really good. I think
Mhm.
she's really charming, and her and Hawkeye doing the whole like buddy cop where she's the really spunky and positive one, and he is the most negative and downtrodden man in the world. And he's like, shut
Yeah.
up, leave me alone. They
Which, I
do.
mean-
The two of them are really good.
We've seen before. It's very tropey. I mean,
Mhm.
everyone knows The Last of Us, shit like that. Like we all know
Yeah.
I'm the father and you're the daughter or the son, and you're like, oh, like I'm just so bushy-eyed and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And then you're like, ugh, I've seen some shit. Like it's that. And then eventually, they warm him up, and he's like, oh, well, now maybe I have a little bit of love in my heart. It was that.
Mhm.
So we know that trope. I do think they still do it well. The biggest thing for me
Yeah.
personally is I was very interested in Haley Steinfeld's performance and what she was going to do, because just knowing what's going to happen next after this movie or after the show should have been a movie. That's neither here nor there.
Should have been a movie. Yep, I agree.
So my big thing was like, I don't really care so much about where Jeremy Renner is going to go. I want to know how she's going to do, since I know we'll probably see more of her.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I mean, I think she did great. I think she's really, like you said, likable, charismatic. Her little quips were very good. I love the way that she dealt with what's the place Florence, and how like their character dynamic kind of went, where they're both just
The two of them together are magic.
I don't know that yes and of each other was fucking hilarious, especially since they're probably the same age, even though they're trying to make her definitely seem Florence look older. I've realized that Homegirl's only like 25 or 26, which is weird. Florence Pugh. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think that's also fucks me up, thinking that people are this good at doing what they do and they're 4 years younger than me. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. She did well. I appreciated her performance a whole lot.
I started off like kind of like with her, only in the sense that when I saw her house in Manhattan and where she lived, I'm like, oh man, it's just got another Bruce. We got a privileged white person, rich as fuck. She lives across the street from Avengers Tower. Are you kidding me?
mommy, I want a bow and arrow so that I can be fucking Hawkeye. Okay, fucking whatever. We'll give you some lessons. Like,
I was like, oh my god, look at this house. Holy shit.
Yeah, also she fucking almost got murdered over that shit, so maybe it wasn't the greatest idea.
Yeah, was there like a reason for her family being super rich?
Generational wealth. I think she said her grandma or grandpa built the house. So yeah, it's just generational wealth.
No, but like if story wise, like does that why why make her rich?
Yeah. Her mom's into some shit. Some bad shit.
Yeah. And also her dad. So, but her dad dies in that first episode.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is her mom's in cahoots with Kingpin.
Yeah,
that's the big twist.
I think that's the same guy from Daredevil, right? The same Kingpin.
Yep.
Which is
this
super
is the
cool.
first Netflix crossover. Really, like big major one of characters. Yeah.
I really wanted to be the black guy, but you know, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah,
like Black Kingpin, like what's his what's his name?
Yeah.
Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace. He's the best.
That's what I wanted. It was Black Kingpin.
Yeah.
But they brought Vincent D'Onofrio, which is like, okay. Let's just talk about him. I knew it was gonna be him just on when you first see some glimpses and some hints early in the episode of the uncle. Uncle's gonna be pissed type of shit. It's like, oh my god, are they gonna do it? And then he's still good. He's still dark. They've kind of MCU'd him a little bit in the sense that they've made him maybe a little more powerful because he fights Kate at the end and he's doing some pretty super punches to her, which is that's the one thing I was worried about. I was like, because just based off the Netflix shows, he works with Netflix because it's a dark, grounded show.
Right.
But if you bring him into this world, any one of the Avengers, even Hawkeye, could kick the
ruin
shit
him.
out of him.
He's just like a rich guy, right?
To make him lighter, they just gave him a Hawaiian shirt underneath his suit. Like,
we'll talk about that.
That was the goofiest thing to me. I'm like, who is this guy? He's a gangster? Like, and he's just wearing this Hawaiian shirt underneath his white suit. I'm like, this guy looks like he's in Miami right now. Like,
his outfit got more and more elaborate. First, it was just the regular white suit. And then he had a weird red Hawaiian shirt under that. And then he finally appears with a fucking hat on his head. And I was like, what is going on?
That hat was the worst thing I've ever seen before in my life. I couldn't stand
Funny
it.
thing is 100% a comic look, like a pretty famous comic look. I was like, okay, there you go. But it was so funny at the time.
And that's my thing that I kind of was worried about when it comes down to comic adaptations, because I do think comics do get pretty ridiculous. And I think in some aspects they should 100% be, because I mean, it's comic, whatever. And one thing about Kingpin is about how strong he is like, he's supposed to be able to like, shrug off bullets because of how fucking muscular this dude is, despite just looking like a fat
He's supposed to be like
dude.
a whale. Almost.
Exactly. To the point where like that man like fucking benches cold like 4,000 pounds. And like that's not, that's nothing for him. But then we just make him like, oh, he's kind of strong. Like, he can't just be kind of strong. I can be kind of strong and still get my head ripped off because fucking Iron Man exists in this world. Like,
right.
We need somebody to be able to, like, do some shit.
I mean, he rips off a car door and he gets full on hit by a car and shrugs it off. So it's like they've upped his power, but I think they're still trying to tweak it a bit. So I don't know.
And I mean, so they kind of do that with like the lower characters too, like Hawkeyes and Kate Bishop, where it's like, I mean, if you got like hit the way that she got hit, you're down for the count. You're going to the hospital. There's no, where am I? Oh, okay, I'm good now. Like, no, you have a concussion, baby girl. You're in a coma. We'll see you in 30 days. Like,
yeah.
So it's one of those things, but
To me, it was kind of goofy that they had him physically fighting at all. Because like a guy like that, wouldn't you like send? You know what I mean? Like
The
I don't know.
henchmen.
It's just it
Send the
was kind of
robots.
like to have it to introduce him and then to basically have Kate essentially beat him in a fight. Like I guess
Right.
I don't know. Like maybe they just were going to burn this one card for this one thing and they're not going to use many future things. But if they were going to use him in the future again, I feel like that's kind of not a great way to introduce him. It's like he's already pretty fallible. Like because if Kate can
Right.
beat him in a straight up fight, then pretty much
That's what
anybody
I'm
else,
saying.
like she's got to be on
Yeah.
the lower end. So like he's not
Right.
going to
Spider-Man would kill him with a punch.
We've seen what Spider-Man can do. Like, fuck,
Right.
dude.
And
Kingpin ain't got
first of
shit
all,
on it.
yeah, like I was watching Hawkeye coming, off of like seeing No Way Home, and it's like, if Spider-Man exists in this same universe, like how is Kingpin, or I mean, he does exist in the same universe, but like in the same city, like how is Spider-Man
Right.
just like not? How is this guy not in jail already? I don't know.
None.
It is weird. It is a little weird, and there's some continuity shit that they're just gonna probably hand wave it away and just be like,
I
forget
mean,
it. Who
Yeah,
cares?
because like I mean,
Right.
and that's one thing I want to mention is like the whole climax fight. Like they have these like so Alex for reference they're at the ice rink like in the iconic that square in New York where like the ice rink is and the big
Oh yeah,
tree.
yeah. Rockefeller Center.
So they're having a Christmas Eve party there, like at one of the towns there, and then these gangsters called the what jumpsuit guys or what are they
the
called?
tracksuit mafia.
Tracksuit Mafia. They who
Sick
previously
name.
before this had like maybe 20 guys. They send in like 300 people to this party and like.
Naturally.
And like they're just openly like in this square on Hawkeye and Kate are on the ice rink fighting them in
Yeah.
open sight. I'm like, if Spider-Man's in this city, obviously Spider-Man would come in. I know it's not a show.
There are no
and,
police and no other heroes in this city at this time.
Yeah,
They're all
exactly,
on
like-
holiday break.
Yeah,
they're on vacation.
exactly.
Yeah.
like-
There's one Ford
Yeah.
man with a sword with a saber, fucking tearing
Sucks for
them
Hawkeye.
assholes up.
yes,
Hawkeye
yes.
stayed home.
Oh my God, Jack! This man just first of all, you just got off the hook for murder, and then you show up
And
to
now
a party
he's
with a
killing
sword.
people left and right.
That was the thing that made me mad about the show. Is like most people, like Marvel, like Alex, you know Marvel. Like usually you're knocking people out. Every once in a while, you might throw somebody off of a fucking airplane or some shit, and it's like, ooh.
Yo, I still remember that first. I think it was Captain America. He
Yep.
straight threw someone off an
Yeah.
airplane. I was like, he just murdered
He's
somebody.
dead. Like, yeah, so it's like you're seeing all these people do that. We're like, ha ha ha, knockout, ha ha, knockout. Then there's this one motherfucker that's the guy that's dating Kate Bishop's mother. And this man has a saber, and he's just fucking slicing, and dicing people up the whole time.
Oh.
So like
Killing
Kate
people.
Bishop's like, ha ha, knockout. And then Jared Renner's like, ha ha, knockout. And he's like, stab. And I'm like, you've murdered that man. Like, yeah, she had a little quit where it's like, haha, you gave me a good thing to tell me about my girlfriend. So now we're going to get a gift. We're going to go to fucking Coldplay or some shit. Okay, that's fine. Knockout.
Oh,
And then
right.
he comes out of nowhere and he's like, haha, parry, stab. He's dead now. He will never get to see
Wow.
his
Wait,
girlfriend
is this-
again. You
Is this a
psychopath.
villain or one of the heroes?
Okay,
No,
so
red
technically-
herring,
Yeah.
where
yeah.
he was supposed to be what you consider as the villain, but it turns out he's just a fucking
Yeah,
lame
they
ass
set him
dude.
up. They set him up as the villain, but then it turns out the mom was framing him the whole time because she was working with Kingpin. But he shows up. That doesn't excuse the fact
Oh,
that
okay.
he was framed for murder, and then he was in jail, and then he shows up to this party with a sword just to kind of flex on everybody, I guess.
He does.
I don't know. But like by that point in the show, we've already
Don't test
established
me.
that he's
Oh,
innocent.
very OJ of him. I'm saying.
Yeah, by the time we get here, we've already established in the show that he is innocent of these crimes. And he shows up to the party with a sword. It's like, what? And then he starts fighting people, like, and he's like laughing about it as he's like, blood here, blood here. Like, I mean, they didn't show the blood, obviously, because it's Marvel, but it's like, just kill the guy, just kill the guy. Haha, I've been wanting this all my whole life. And that's another thing, okay, with this climax fight. They established earlier that the LARPers are all like first responders and like, police and fire department, that kind of kind of folks. And then they're helping Hawkeye in this climax while not calling emergency services as like an army of thugs, a literal army of thugs is
Hey,
attacking
bro,
a
man, if
building.
an Avenger
And
tells
these
you what to
first
do, you just
responders
listen.
Are just sitting there, not calling 911.
Right.
Like
You forgot
this-
that they told me that if I help fucking Hawkeye, I get a cool suit for my next LARPing session. So I'm not going to say shit, bro, because I saw what his outfit looks like. It looks pretty cool. I want one like that. So I'll keep my
Right.
mouth shut no matter how
But, like-
long. I'm about to get at least $2,000 worth of suit right here.
The
So-
fight, but the fight goes on for like 20 minutes, and Hawkeye's like, "Hey, we need your help to get people out of this building, like the civilians. It's like, you know who else could do that? The NYPD. Like
one of the highest paid police departments of all time. Like, come on.
like, but you know what? Let's just fight this entire mob on our, like a literal army on our own, and not call emergency services, even though it is established that we are all first responders. I don't know. That was really goofy to me, and I thought that was pretty funny. But
maybe they were already all there, like they had everybody.
No, it was very obvious that there was 4 people.
No.
They're trying to get the crowd to move.
Yeah.
And damn, I heard a group of LARPers. I thought it was like 300 people.
No, it was like 4.
No, yeah, it's like
Damn.
4 key people.
it was very
Okay, yeah, maybe they should have called somebody.
And the fight goes on for like a good bit, and it's like I don't know where the NYPD is, but I feel like they should be here by now. Like, I don't know.
They probably just didn't have their cell phones.
That was one
Yeah.
wrinkle in the show.
Speaking of that fight, I mean, like it's Trick Arrow City. I mean, and it's pretty cool. There's like, but also like he's doing some bad. He freezes a dude's leg. I'm like, that's gone. It's like Sub-Zero gone when it cracks.
Wow.
He doesn't have a leg anymore.
That shit cracks
And
off.
then
His leg cracks off?
you don't see it, but I don't know how he's gonna get it out of there. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh-wee.
Ooh.
Like there's
Yeah.
cool, like there's like weird like gravity ones, and there's a Stark arrow, but you don't see necessarily which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a Pym arrow, an Ant-Man arrow, which he uses earlier in the show, which is one of the highlights. He shoots an arrow with a Pym arrow and turns it into a giant arrow to crush a truck oncoming, and it's like one of the coolest
pretty cool.
scenes in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Did they go into his like backstory at all? I guess they had to a little bit, right?
Not so much.
More
They
to the
they do
Ronin
go into
aspect of
him
him.
making the arrows though. Like there's a whole montage
Yeah,
of him
how does
actually
he make
making
all
them.
these things?
There's like a quick montage of him using like a soldering
Mhm.
iron and tech, and he's got all like the heads and
Oh, yeah,
yada yada.
that's all you need. Just,
Yeah.
That's all. It's
just
like
some
it's
80s,
real quick.
80s music,
It's very much
soldering
a Home
iron.
Alone
Yeah.
montage.
Good to go.
It's an Iron Man kind of thing where it's like, oh, he made it in a cave with a bunch of spare parts. And it's
Right.
like, what? He's that smart.
Do
Sure.
a little close up dolly shot. That's all you need.
Right.
Hawkeye made these
Basically.
in the apartment with a
Yeah,
couple
no,
scraps.
I mean, I do think that it did a good job of doing what I think Marvel's pretty good at doing when it comes to these tertiary characters in their comics, where it's like
Mhm.
they made him look as interesting as he possibly could based on what we've already know of him.
Here's the thing with the show, and it's a lighthearted, like holiday Christmas kind of show, right? But like they set up this whole arc of the show is like kind of Hawkeye has to stay because Kate Bishop is threatened because she used the Ronin suit, and people, he made enemies when he was killing all these
he has to
gangsters,
atone
right?
for his sins, basically.
And
Yeah.
he doesn't have to actually suffer the consequences of his actions at all. Like he killed as many gangsters as he wanted to during Endgame, and literally he gets off scot-free when he goes and he burns the suit, and it's like, oh, that's done. I get to go have Chris with my family. And like they
Right.
introduced this
He
character.
cried to one deaf woman because they're both deaf.
Yeah,
It was
like-
cool.
Yeah, so they introduced that deaf girl who's also kind of
Echo.
OP as hell. But anyway, like, so they introduced her, and like he killed her father, which did not seem. I mean, what were they doing? Like stealing cars? I don't know. It didn't seem like an offense that was like necessary to die for. But
That is one thing that's still kind of unclear. Is that him or not?
Right.
They still they still leave that somewhat, because like in the show, that's a big reveal. Echo is a character from the comics. She's Kingpin's basically his minion in the show.
mhm.
But like her whole story, she has a cool little origin story in the beginning of.
She's
the
the
second or third episode.
Teresa of Fable. Teresa from Fable. Sorry, this is a weird aside. I apologize. But if you ever played Fable, Teresa is basically the blind version of what Echo is, and I didn't understand until very recently that that's what they were taking that character from. Where it's like, oh, you guys know each other since childhood, and then she gets taken, and like a bandit leader becomes, steals her, and then makes her like, trains her in fighting and stuff. And even though she can't
Mhm.
see, and she's supposed to have like, a quote unquote disability, she becomes a very strong character, and then that's what
Mhm.
Echo basically is. It's
I really liked Echo's origin story. I thought it was
No,
really
she's
good.
super cool. And I think it was really cool. I don't know if the actor themselves are actually deaf or hard of
Yeah.
hearing. Really? Are
I was
they?
gonna say, like, she's both deaf and only has and is an amputee. They incorporate, that's not a character trait from the comics.
Oh, so they didn't
They
use any like
added that-
green screen with that or anything.
No, they
Holy
added that
shit.
because of the actor they hired, which I was like, that's
super
amazing.
cool.
That
Wow,
is
That's
cool.
what I was wondering, especially the amputation part. I was wondering if
Yeah.
that was a green screen. 'Cause I just figured, like, yeah, I mean, I've seen Game of Thrones. I know what they do in this situation when they want someone to look like they don't have
Right.
an appendage. So holy shit.
No, that's yeah. She eventually she becomes a hero because you find out that Kingpin set up her father to die. It was all a setup, and so she's gonna be a good guy. She's really cool buddies with Daredevil. So you get the deaf person with the blind man. That's their little team up.
Nice.
But she has a really cool origin. I hated her look when she you could tell she became a good guy because she let her hair down and changed her clothes at the end. I was like, oh, there you go. Now they're different.
Also, though, dude, she was dummy OP in every single fight. Like, she was so strong and, like, I don't know, like, she was way... I feel like Hawkeye should have made quicker work of her than he was able to, but I don't know.
I mean, I go back and forth with that just as a person that just likes to see a more diverse cast of characters, whether it be women, people of color, stuff like that. So I just like them that they like, yeah, she may be a woman, but she beating the shit out that man. Like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I'm gonna appreciate seeing that because I just feel like people, of course, you're gonna be like, well, he's a man, so he should be strong. And I'm like, fuck it. Let her throw people around like fucking rag dolls. I enjoy it. They did the same thing in Falcon and Winter Soldier where they had Homegirl when they were trying to find like that serum or whatever, where she was beating the shit out of grown ass 250-pound men like it was nothing. And I was like, yep.
It's awesome.
That's what I like to see. Throw that motherfucker around.
But what we were talking about before when we got into Echo was it's still unclear whether or not that was actually Hawkeye that killed her dad. Because Hawkeye later in the show made it seem like Kingpin, that was a setup, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's still not sure. Did he still do it or not?
Well,
I'm not sure.
Tells her,
they didn't answer that question.
But he tells her when he beats her in a fight, and he tells her, it's like, Kingpin told, like, doesn't he make that clear to her that it was him?
I guess that is that him admitting that he did kill her dad.
But to me, the issue is that, like, he doesn't have to face any. I mean, it's not an issue, but it's like the show is kind of setting up like, oh, you got to deal with your past, right? And he gets to go home and have Christmas with his family, like, and he robbed that of a lot of people during during Endgame. Now, to be fair, they set them up as like all bad people, but still, like, Hawkeye. If the logic is like, oh, the Ronin needs to answer for his crimes. I mean, Hawkeye has no problem just going home and being like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna retire and, like, spend my life with my family, and, like, I'm not going to jail, and I'm not gonna have to answer for my actions. Like, and I feel like, maybe you're an adventurer, you get cut some slack, but I just feel like the way the show did that was it maybe felt like there was going to be some kind of reckoning for him at some point. But since it's a Christmas show, obviously they're not really going to do that. It's a lighthearted show, but like it felt like maybe there'd be some kind of moment where he even feels remorse or something. There's never a moment like that. He's like, yeah, sorry I killed your dad. Sorry, not sorry. Like, but it was a setup, whatever. I'm going home. Suit's gone. All the
going home.
The proof is gone. Like,
peace,
nobody will ever
home.
know it was me. You know what I mean? I don't know.
What you're saying right now is 100% what a lot of Marvel movies just kind of do as a whole.
Yeah.
Where it's almost watered down the kind of real psychological aspects of their situations, which I think is a disservice to them, but I also understand why when you're trying to match the formula, you want to make it a good feeling at the end of the day. And that's why this movie, this show ended in a good way to make you feel good, despite him not actually having any real repentance for his stuff that he went through. Yeah, it's just one of those things that I 100% agree with you, Devin, where I think that there is a really good potential of something you can do there that's always missed in their movies, especially. And I think this is one of them, where it's like he should have to lose something for this. And he lost nothing. I mean, Kate lost some things. Elena lost some things. All these characters lost things. And a lot of it was because of his actions, because of Clint's actions. And then he gets to go back to his family.
I mean, I guess you could say he lost his family for 5 years, but I don't know.
I mean, sure, but like it got him back. Like, it's not like Elena lost Natasha forever. She's not coming back. Like that's permanent. Like Kate lost her dad forever. He's not coming back. Fucking Echo lost like forever. Like
right. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like if you introduce, like, if you say that, oh, I did some bad things as the Ronin, I just need to cover this up and, like, just make everybody forget about it, and I can't, but I don't want Kate Bishop to take the fall for me, then I get that of, like, okay, and we just don't really talk about what you did in Endgame. But the fact that they humanized Echo's dad, like, they showed her upbringing, they showed that he was a good person and, like, did that, like, he raised her well and he was a good father, and then Hawkeye kills him, like, I know that you're doing that because it's Echo's, like, arc, but like
Right.
to kind of like not acknowledge that, like for Hawkeye to never really acknowledge that what he did was wrong. Like, and he kind of like minorly does, but he never really has to like sit down and like, damn, maybe I went a little too crazy. Like, sorry about that. Like, that's basically
Right, like if it wasn't a setup, would he have later on killed her dad in a different warehouse somewhere else? Like, yeah, it's not very clear, that whole aspect of it.
But it's just, to me, it's like, if you just need to get rid of the Ronin and like that's a part of the story, then I get it. But like to humanize the dad and like have Hawkeye kill him and like kind of have that morality battle, and then to not have Hawkeye like really not even address it. Like, it's not even getting justice, first of all, not even close to anything like justice. But like to not even like show any kind of remorse, really. Like, I don't know, maybe I think he shows like a little bit, but he doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't really seem like he's that bothered by what he did at all.
I agree with you 100%. It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, slight spoilers for Last of Us, I brought it up earlier, but it's like one of those things, if you make a brooding character that takes care of someone that's younger and more, less exposed to the world and the harshness of the world, like, I mean, it sucks to kind of do something like this show where it's like, yeah, I mean, he did a bad thing, morally great character, where it's like, not everything he does is, it's not a Chris Evans, kind of like a Steve Rogers kind of thing, where it's like, I only know good. I only do the best thing ever. Like, Clint had a stint where he did a lot of shit that was really fucking awful because he had a lot of negative feelings towards the world and the way that things were handled. Garrus in Mass Effect 2 is a big example of those kind of things. And Garrus paid for that with his fucking face when he got shot by the enemy. So it just kind of feels disrespectful to be like, oh, yeah, we know we have this whole moral dilemma with this gray morality, but then nothing happens to it. Because, I mean, like I said, spoiler for Last of Us is a motherfucker dies over that, because he did something, and then the character gets humanized of like, we're all just trying to do the best we can with what we have. And are you, just because you say you're on the right side, are you on the right side? Everyone thinks they're on the right side of a battle, and
Right. Yeah.
Right.
what are the consequences of that?
It was just kind of a weird way for them to introduce that element in the show to me. I don't know, but
Yeah,
but it kind
I
of
feel
pulled
you,
the
Devin.
story
I feel
together.
like I could see myself getting frustrated that they would introduce that kind of those dilemmas and those that kind of reckoning, and then just to not bring it up again seems like a missed opportunity.
Right.
Maybe it's something that they cut out because there's only 6 episodes. Maybe I wonder how much got left on the cutting room floor or on the idea box floor.
That's kind of like a feeling of, I think I have a lot of Marvel stuff where I think there's always a point that I often feel like I almost understand the villain, the quote unquote, or whoever's trying to make to be seem as like the bad person at that time. And then they do this thing to make you completely change your mind about it. That's a pretty often thing that they do. I hate same thing happened to Killmonger, where you're like, oh, this man's making sense. And then he shoots a girl in their face. And then that's like, oh, okay. He's just a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, he fucking just starts beating the shit out of his aunt. And I was like, oh, okay, he's just a bad guy. What's another situation like that? There's another one in the Marvel shows where they are Marvel movies, where it's like, oh, I get where they're coming from. Like, this feels real. And they're like, no, that's a villain. Oh, Falcon and Winter Soldier, where you're like, oh, I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're kind of being like enemy of the state right now. Like, you're trying too hard to be part of the military. And then next thing you know, she's killing innocent people. And you're like, oh,
Right.
she's a bad person.
They have to make you hate them. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, don't make me hate them. Make me understand them. I think that's a much more powerful place to come from.
I think that's just the trope that a lot of like textbook easygoing like villain bad guy Star Wars kind of archetypal characters. You want to understand their motives, but then you make them kick a puppy, so they're like, okay,
Right.
you're obviously an evil person.
Absolutely.
Obviously can't trust you still though.
I wish it would be
Yeah.
deeper than that though, because I just think it's so worn out.
A deeper content would be nice.
Right.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
I think that's why Thanos was so good as well as a villain, because they used the first part, the Infinity War, basically is his hero's journey.
Right.
And I think that worked to make it so well, which is why he's just straight up a bad guy in Endgame. He's like not even a character in that movie. But I wanted to talk about, because for Clint, at least in Hawkeye, this is the best Hawkeye shit. Granted, it should be. It's a show called Hawkeye. This should be the best Hawkeye stuff. But there's one and slash two, but mostly one particular scene where I think it's the best thing for Hawkeye has done, and also that Jeremy Renner's done. there's a scene where he loses his hearing aid and Echo steps on it and breaks it. So he's walking around with Kate not being able to hear shit. And they get back to Kate's fake apartment where they're staying right now. And his phone rings and he thinks it's his wife, Laura. But and he's just like saying generic, "Hey, how are you? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to stay here a couple days." And then Kate realizes since she can hear, it's his littlest son, his youngest. And so it's a really sweet moment where he's having to have this conversation with his kid that he can't even hear, and Kate is helping transcribe and writing on notes what his son is saying to him. All the while, Kate doesn't have a dad at this point, and so it's this really really good scene, and Renner is acting his ass off in it. And I was like, "Damn, this is really good shit right here." And he's having to tell his kid that I'm gonna be there for Christmas. Don't worry, yada. And his kid is saying stuff like, "Don't. It's okay if you don't make it and stuff." It's kind of tropey stuff, but I think it's done really, really well in that scene in particular.
Yeah, it's a failure for sure.
And as somebody that's half deaf, I can completely validate that if you sometimes don't hear what people are saying, you just be like, "Oh yeah, honey, like." Yeah, I'll be home in a couple of days. Like, yep.
I want you to know, Devin, this is kind of a side, but my father, he's been deaf in one of his ears for a few years at this point. But it's something that's fairly new to him. And he's so weird about getting a hearing aid or trying to because he thinks it'll make him look old. So what I tell him all the time is like, I have this friend, he's my age, and he has one, and it's perfectly fine. Like no one thinks he's less weird because of it. Like it's okay. Like we all have our things.
No one thinks he's less weird. He's still
he's still weird as shit.
He's still a fucking weird dude, but
no one's like, oh man, this dude's fucking old as shit. It's like, no, everyone knows he's 30, and like we all have our fucking shit. Like stop being weird. Because my dad is so afraid.
The hearing aids actually make him more normal. So, he's a pretty weird guy.
So I will say that I have used you multiple times to talk to my dad into getting a hearing aid. And,
man.
Hopefully we're working on it this year that he'll actually get one.
Nice.
So that he can fucking actually hear people instead of pretending that he's cool while also being full ass deaf and can't actually talk to anybody.
Asking you to repeat yourself 3 times.
It's like, hey, Mr. Williams, have you ever murdered anyone? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And he's like, what? Yeah, so.
That's funny.
But the other scene I thought was really good with him is when he goes to the Avengers plaque which is weird. It just has a list of all of their names, which goes to the fact that everyone just knows who all the Avengers are. And he takes his hearing aid out and he has a nice quiet conversation with Black Widow. And he's like, I need to talk to you. I'm sorry. I wish you were here, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was another really good scene with him. Again, making the point that this show is really much a eulogy to Black Widow. Yeah. I thought Renner was really good in this whole show.
As someone that thinks his acting is okay. It's very Nicolas Cage in my opinion. I do think he sold it a lot better than he probably would have normally. I mean, he's about to be in something else that's coming out pretty soon, and he's playing almost the exact same character as the disgruntled, brooding man that's into military shit or whatever. And it's like, whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely gets typecasted a lot.
Exactly. I think he probably has more of a range than he's given credit for, and that's almost disappointing to me, because I'd love to see him in some more, I don't want to say fantastical stuff, but just something that just gives him a little bit of a different place to start from.
Yeah. I just didn't think he was good. Like, I thought he acted pretty well, but I think he was very stiff around the kids. Like, that first restaurant scene was so stiff to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But,
that's actually pretty valid. Yeah.
Kids are fucking weird, dude. I don't know. That's awkward.
It also, to be fair, it happened right after that Broadway where he had a bit of PTSD in the middle of it. So maybe he was still feeling a little rocky at dinner. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Or maybe Jeremy Renner just doesn't like kids.
I mean,
it's canon. You heard it here first, folks.
I'm
Jeremy
saying
Renner
he's
hates
pretty
kids.
good in all the adult scenes. So, who knows?
So what did this open up for? All these shows and Marvel movies always end things in such a big way. Where are we leaving the Marvel universe?
Nothing.
Broadway.
No,
left
really.
it with Broadway.
That might be one thing that maybe like people don't like compared to Loki, where it's like this is a monumental thing for the MCU. Nothing
Right.
much changes for the MCU after Hawkeye.
That's a very Hawkeye ending.
I think you started with nothing, you leave with
And
nothing.
life goes on.
No, I mean, I think I think I heard somewhere that Echo's going to have a show, and I feel like Kingpin is definitely going to be around. Like they do this thing where like she shoots him at the end, but like you just hear the gunshot, you don't actually see anything. So Kingpin will definitely be back, I think.
I was upset when I first saw that. I was like, you did not just bring him in and then kill him immediately. I would have been pissed. But
I'm sure he'll be back. Yeah,
it is very much in the comics. She shoots him like point blank in the face, and he just like
damn.
And he's just fine. He has like he has to get like new eyes or some shit. I don't remember. It's some weird shit. But he'll come back. He'll come back at some point. He'll probably be the villain in her show, I would imagine. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Echo will definitely be around.
And do you think we'll see more of Kate Bishop?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
she's taking the reins.
Oh, is she going to be like the new Hawkeye, or what's her name? Is her name Hawkeye now? Mostly
just Kate Bishop, sometimes Hawkeye, but yeah.
They made fun of that at the end of the show, where she was like, well, I have a couple of ideas of what I should be for a name. And it was like Hawk Girl or something stupid like that. And then, of course, Clinton's like, nah, that sounds dumb as shit. And I think it says, what about... And then I think it cuts straight to Hawkeye, the intro scene at that point.
Logo.
Yeah, the logo.
Yeah. So she's a part of
Hawkeye.
the Young Avengers, which they've started introducing some of them. So you got like Kate Bishop. Technically, Wanda's kids are part of that, I believe. So that might be a thing that comes into it. So yeah, they're and like they'll probably put Miss Marvel when her show comes out. Like so they're already starting to trickle down all the new Young Avengers or anything like that.
So, Alex, are you more or less likely to watch it now?
I feel like we were more negative this talk. It's actually really good.
It is good.
it's like it went. My level went up and then down and then up a little bit and then I kind of ended right where I started.
Yeah, I mean it's enjoyable, but like
it's like Home Alone and Die Hard. It's just like it's pretty light.
I don't think I would have watched it.
Yeah,
around
I might watch
time.
it sometime for like some leisurely TV watching. But
yeah,
there's so much that I
exactly
feel like I need to watch. So I don't know if I feel like I probably still won't.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But we'll see. It does, like there's moments that look funny. So
yeah, I mean it was definitely enjoyable, but you know I don't know. I don't think I'd touch it around like regular time of the year. Like I think because it was Christmas themed, I was like I kind of want to watch something that's Christmas themed. You know?
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, other than that, I mean I don't know. But it was good. Like you know it was. The one thing, you know, one of the things you can say about it is like Disney Plus with the Marvel shows has established like a cinematic level of quality for all the shows. Like it's not like Netflix or CW quality. Like it's all very good, very good, like very high quality stuff.
I just got a couple wrap up notes. Lucky the dog from the comics is in this. I don't know. They were struggling to find a name for it. I didn't know why they didn't just call him Nick Fury. It's a dog with one eye. Come on. How did they miss that joke? How did they miss that joke?
Oh, beautiful.
Dog with one eye.
Beautiful.
We talked about Jack a bit. His mustache is ridiculous, but
love
cool. The mom stuff, I think we didn't talk about it much because it's probably the weakest part of the show for me. It's just kind of boring. I don't really care.
It feels very tropey. I think it's just like, oh yes, okay, mom is into some shit. Like I don't know. I felt like very Ocean's 13 or some shit like that. You know?
Yeah. One thing about Yelena that I did like that we had never seen before, we finally got a perspective of someone being snapped.
Yeah.
So like usually when we see someone getting snapped, they're either coming back or we see them disappear completely. But we actually saw the snap happen from Yelena's perspective. So she doesn't even fade away completely and then comes back immediately. So I was like, oh, what? That was weird.
That was interesting. Yeah, wait, so how was it depicted?
There's a very interesting
So like
take
she's
where
sitting at a sink. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Okay, I mean, we can both talk about it. It's fine. But basically the situation
It's
is...
okay.
You'll tell us. We'll talk about it from your perspective. Yeah, so she basically, like, she's hanging out with her friends and stuff in this one house that is it's a nice house, and I'm assuming it's Manhattan or some shit like that. And then she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I have to pee. And as she's going to the bathroom, the walls randomly start changing a different color. It's almost like a nightmare. You know, like if you ever had like have you ever been up for like way too long, you start hallucinating a little bit? It almost feels like a hallucination where like things start changing randomly while she's in the bathroom and she starts seeing weird figures and stuff. And she's like, what the fuck is happening? And then after like the walls change and the paint changes in the bathroom, she walks out of the bathroom and then she's like, where are my friends? And it's a complete, different, completely family. It's been 5 years.
You see her slightly fade away. You see her start to turn to dust though. Like she turns to
exactly.
dust
It's like
for
a slight dust change.
Yeah.
But like it almost feels like a Resident Evil situation where it's like
Yeah,
you don't know
it's-
whether it's real or fake. And then
Yeah.
she goes out of the room, and then, I mean, her friends are gone because someone else lives in this building now.
And it's been her friend is there, but then she's surprised to see her. She's like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck? Are you, what is happening?"
Don't they have a kid now? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a kid running. And it's like, and so they tell her it's been 5 years.
She literally was gone for
A second.
the time it took for her to go to the bathroom and back.
Right.
But
Right.
in real life, it was the whole
5
snap.
years.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting take on quote unquote death. Just as someone that like I think a lot about it in a weird emo way, whatever the fuck. But it's just kind of like that weird thing of like, what does perception of reality happen when you go through things like, say, a coma? Like, what does a coma feel like if you've been through a coma? Like, some people are down for like, a year plus. What does it feel like to go to sleep and then wake up? And it's like, it probably feels more akin to that, where you don't know that time has passed. You just, you're out and then you wake up and then it's been a year and it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, man, you've been down for, it's that kind of situation. I thought that was a really interesting take on it. That I really appreciate that they actually went into, because no one actually talks about it. They're just like, oh yeah, my brother is my older brother now, even though he's my younger brother. Like that was a cool, I don't know, of like, what's the reality of being the person to lose 5 years of your life and you don't even realize it? Like,
So I thought that was cool to see it from that perspective.
There are a lot of consequences that would happen if that actually happened in real life, and the MCU has done a very surface level job of addressing those issues. Like there would be so many problems with
Falcon, Winter Soldier was the closest to being anything, and they still dropped the ball on that, which was really
just hand wave it away.
Yeah,
hand wave it away.
Which was like, yes, there were to be a lot of refugees because this was your house, and now you were dead, and now you are back. So now the housing crisis is a real thing. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very superhero solution to the problem. It's like that. I don't really know that that's a great solution, because I don't know. But I don't know. I guess everybody's alive again, but still, it's like,
right. What was the solution? Those people just exist again.
What about all the people that were on airplanes? Where do they just die again?
Yeah,
No.
They just fall
They just
from the
appear
sky.
in the air. Like,
Damn, bro. Imagine
Yeah,
that.
it's a little. I think Hulk, when he snapped, he's like, put everyone on the ground as well.
yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things you got to think about as you snap him. That one, you got a lot of sub clauses and Article B. Like,
oh man, it's cool. We brought back the Dragon Balls, and then we just had them we wished them back, and it's cool.
It just works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also get Hawkeye's more comic accurate costume, which is cool. It looks fine, great. It's purple. There's a weird random CGI owl that kills 2 men in a truck that are shrink down. That's really weird and random as fuck.
You can find an owl that doesn't, or you can even make an owl that doesn't look that fucking cartoonish. I don't know why they made fucking Pixar's Encanto version of an owl. It was very odd.
Kate hitting all the buttons in the elevator while fighting Yelena was hilarious.
So funny. That was funny.
I'm telling you, Florence is so good because she just has such a good fucking characterization. It's just like, I just want to kill a Hawkeye. And they were like, okay, you want to kill Hawkeye? And she's just like, this is so lame,
She's
dude.
so a pain in the ass, yeah.
You're like, this one wants to kill somebody?
That was funny.
And Kate has one fork in her whole apartment. What the fuck is wrong with you? All right.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, we went to college. We saw that shit was.
Yeah, but she rich.
You gotta have a couple forks.
Yeah,
She got one fork?
Y'all don't remember our roommate that had a camping set of wear?
I don't think our roommate was a billionaire.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're still a stupid kid, dude. I mean, it might have been closer than we thought. But
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you get to $1 billion. Don't buy
Right.
silverware.
Well, on that subject, like, you're talking about the mom stuff, and it's like, they're talking about their money problems at the beginning of the show, and then it's like, and then the mom is like, oh, I have to, like, you don't know all the things I have to do, Kate, to keep us rich. And she's like, what do you want me to do? Sell the penthouse? It's like, instead of working with Kingpin, maybe yes. Maybe go live
That's a good
somewhere
start.
else.
Right. That could be something.
Maybe
We could
not be
downsize.
as rich and not do crime. I don't know. Just a thought.
Like yes,
Yeah.
that's a great idea. We should sell the house. Yeah.
Anyway.
One last thing that I thought was interesting was they're introducing this weird thread of a watch that's missing the whole show. And at the end, it turns out it's Hawkeye's wife, Linda Cardellini's character. And turns out she was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent this whole time. And she is actually Agent, I can't remember Agent 19, which in the comics she is Mockingbird, which in the comics Hawkeye and Mockingbird are married and together. But they did introduce Mockingbird, the actual character, in the Agents of Shield show, so it's just more of a of a
Uh-oh.
showing that Marvel just is like, yeah, that show is just kind of in its own universe. It doesn't really
Oh
matter.
no. Okay, that's fair.
We'll just tuck that one under the rug.
Don't they have Marvel
Yeah.
Universe people in that show at sometimes? Like a couple times.
Yes,
right?
which is why it doesn't make any damn sense.
What the? Oh, okay. That's
Just don't worry about it.
So they're just like, it's fine. It is what it is. It's a nice, cute little touch.
Hey,
but
there can be
just
2
don't think
agents
about
named
it.
Mockingbird. Why not?
It's true.
You know,
It's true.
I mean, we
Yep.
had fake a lot of characters. What we had fucking from Iron Man 3. And
That's true.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
That was a whole issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. But yeah. So I liked it. I think if anyone, it still should be a movie. Should be a movie. But if you have the time and you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a fun little Home
Yeah.
Alone Christmas
Mhm.
episode thing.
I think holiday especially made it hit a good point of like I
Mhm.
didn't have many things to watch during the holiday season, and I was like, this feels a little diehardish in a
Yeah.
good way. Like I appreciated it, and I wasn't mad at it by any means. And this is coming from someone that is very strongly against Hawkeye as a character in the MCU, and also Jeremy Renner as a person that exists.
Also, I want to see more Hawkeye because he's like the last OG Avenger we have. We got the Hulk and Thor, I
Thor.
guess, but
I won't go that far, but
I wouldn't mind seeing him again pop up.
It's fine. I'm
Mhm.
cool with
So-
Kate Bishop being the main character. You know?
It's fair enough. That's true. All right. Are you guys all ready to move on to our final segment of the week,
Mhm.
Let's.
which we like to call Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, listeners, where we kind of do whatever we want. We can recommend something. We can talk about our day. We can talk about life. We can take a nap. We can rant. We can do whatever we want.
Get really mad.
Get really angry at Devin.
Grrr.
It's free for all. I can go first. I got a couple things real quick. I'll try to rattle them off real quick. But the first one, and more importantly, I watched or finished the Peacemaker series like last week.
Ah-ha-ha.
It ended. It's the John Cena DC Suicide Squad
Yeah.
spin-off series. It's really good.
I've heard
Like, it's
amazing things
genuinely-
about it, and I'm so mad
Oh,
about it
wow.
because I really was not going to watch it.
Like, I would say, like, if we don't do an episode for it soon, which we probably won't right now, it's already said that they're doing season 2. We could do it then because it is a damn good show. Like, genuinely a really good, funny, and even at moments heartfelt show,
Wow.
which you do not expect given the character that John Cena plays
Yeah.
as like a horrible person.
Yeah, I saw a piece of it that was kind of, I don't want to do any spoilers of so much, but I don't know about, like, it shows some characters from some other parts
Yeah.
of it, and it is hilarious and sad at the same time. And I was like, damn, they really hit that really well.
Wow.
Like James Gunn, he's the king of this apparently, man. Like this might be his best shit since the first Guardians, to
Wow.
be honest, and maybe even that most recent Suicide Squad movie, which I still like really enjoyed. That James Gunn Suicide Squad movie that came out last year. Super solid. If you do watch the show, I would say watch that movie. You can get away with not watching it, but I would say since this does take place after that,
Mhm.
and he was a character in that movie, I would watch it because it does add some context.
Right.
But he's just so good at creating these characters that are multi-complex, and you see them on a surface level where they're like total shitbags, like really bad people, and like he somehow gives them heart and soul, and I don't know how he does it. He's just so good at it. But if you don't know anything about it, Peacemaker, he's like crazy Captain America in a simplified way, where he'll do
Mhm.
anything for what he says is peace. And the quote I think he says is like, and he doesn't care how many men, women, or children he has to kill to get it. Basically, like that's his mantra,
Wow.
his vow. But it's only 7 episodes, 8 episodes. I can't remember.
Oh,
But
cool.
it's really well paced. It doesn't feel like it's dragged on too long. It's fucking and I will say the intro to this show, if you're not into it, you might not be into the show.
I
will
heard
say
the
that,
intro is
'cause
pretty weird.
it's as weird as the show is, basically. So like that is the tone if you should going forward into the show, having seen the intro, that it's this really kind of goofy but serious. Like it's yeah. So if that's not your type of comedy or your type of thing, then maybe it's not for you. But I would say still give it a shot. But because James Gunn does like he does kind of have some shock comedy every now and then, but he backs it pretty well, and not every bit works all the time. But for the most part, it was a really, really well done, funny show. and really some fun like deep cut DC stuff that he throws in there that is super cool. And I won't give any of that stuff
Wow.
away. But the
Interesting.
finale, I will say, had one of the coolest moments I've seen in a long time, and it was just
Dang.
a really good breath of fresh air. And I'm me because especially because I did not like his character in Suicide Squad. Like I liked him, but he's a bad guy. Like so, I was like, I don't want to show with him. I don't want to see this guy
He's
again.
the biggest dick. What the?
Yeah. But he somehow found a way to turn it around, and yeah, I think
Cool.
everyone should watch it. You guys should check this out.
Nice.
Yeah, super great. Peacemaker on HBO. That and another thing, real quick. I watched Free Guy that hit Disney Plus because I never wanted to go to theater to see it, but it finally hit Disney Plus.
I never wanted to see it.
And yeah, and then I watched it. It was fine. It was like kind of like just okay, like what I kind of thought. It wasn't like amazing, but there's some funny-ish moments in there, and it's a funny, well, I guess you could say video game movie.
I feel like in the group chat, you hyped it up a little bit more. Now it sounds like you got a little more lukewarm
Did I?
as time has gone
I
on.
feel like all I said was, well, I watched Free Guy. Not bad. Pretty good, actually.
It was an exclamation point, though,
bad.
and pretty good. Now it's like, it's okay, it's fine. Fine and pretty good are very different.
I'll still stick with it's pretty good.
Okay.
You know,
I know
Pretty
Oscar's
good.
words by now and what he means when he says things like this.
Sounds like a 5 out of 10 right now.
I'm definitely glad I watched it at home. Like I'm glad I saw it on streaming and just like could just sit comfortably and get up and pause it if I needed.
I'm still laughing at Alex. That
It's
sounds like a
very
5 out of
me
10.
movie.
And like this is from me, who I'm like I don't really care about Ryan Reynolds because he plays the same person and everything.
Mm.
He's
We
He's fine
We
in
talk
this,
about fatigue of
He's
actors. I have such heavy Ryan Reynolds fatigue. Like it's really bad. He's like the first person that I've hit fatigue with in our like
Wow.
generation
Oh,
of
I
actors
hit
right
it.
now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tired of him. Deadpool was cool. Pikachu,
Yeah.
fine. Now I'm just like, God, dude, do you have to keep existing? He shows up on fucking ads for me all the time with like the stupid telephone,
Mint Mobile
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, all that shit. I'm like, man, get off my screen. I hate you. Go away.
Yeah.
I don't hate him.
You
but-
need a break from him every now and then
Yeah.
because he just does the same shit. But yeah, so like if you have 2 hours and you need something to watch, that's kind of just like you can watch in the background almost maybe. But it does because there are some pretty funny like video game-esque jokes in there.
Mm.
Like the amount of times NPC is said is kind of hilarious, and having to describe what an NPC is to mass media who's watching this is kind of.
Oh,
It was
no.
the new spoilers. It was the new EMP. Yes, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. I was like, oh god, here we go again.
That's funny.
But yeah, so Free Guy and Peacemaker.
Nice.
Nice, nice. I can go next. I did a thing. God, I've been watching. I mean, I watch a lot of trash TV. I can't pretend I don't, but I don't watch a lot of reality TV like talking about. But I do love it because there's something just I don't know. It's like instinctual to just love people being messy in front of you because I guess it makes you forget about your life and how messy your own life is. But it's just something about watching other people be messy. That's just chef's kiss. It's amazing. So this is the second season of a show called Love Is Blind. I don't know if you guys have heard of it on Netflix. For the people that don't know, it's a show about basically, I think it's like 14 men and 14 women get together in these pods basically, and they have to basically go on like a speed date. And you can't see each other this entire time that you're engaging with each other. You can't see like the opposite sex. And you basically have to, within a week, decide whether or not you want to get engaged to this person. Because they're trying to, Nick Lachey's in it and his wife.
Oh, wow.
Are the host.
Oh, yeah, they're the host, right?
Yeah, trying to, I guess, convince you that love might be blind, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But everything's in like super quick mode. So by the second episode, there's already a couple. That's the second day. The second day, someone's already engaged. And it's like, second day.
There's always one.
And it's
There's
so
always one.
atrociously cringy because these people are just like, I feel like they know me better than anyone I've ever met before in my life. It's been 2 days, bro. My local gas station dude knows me better than you know each other. What are you talking about? Like, that's so
The
ridiculous. And then-
Starbucks barista knows me better.
Right. At least she knows my order. You don't even know my favorite color, bro. What are you talking about? And they're just like, I just love you so much. And it's like, it's so weird. But that show is a trash
Wow.
can. Because what happens once you get past that pod point, you go on a vacation to Mexico. And then all the couples that got engaged get to meet each other.
Oh, boy.
Of course, based on how this whole thing works, is there people that do pick multiple people. There's literally someone, there's a lot of spoilers for this show. Sorry, I'm not going to give any names, so you have to kind of figure out. But this is something that you care about. Whatever. There are one girl that gets picked by 2 men. So basically, a dude chooses to marry his second choice, which sounds
no.
so fucking awful. Because homegirl's like, if she had said yes, would you have said yes? Would you have married her? And it's like, obviously, yes. But he's trying to like fight around that of like, no, I wanted to know if she would. Ma'am, you're second choice. And it sucks.
Oh, no.
So then there's that whole debacle with that. People are crying, spitting, shitting. One girl is just gaslighting this dude, saying his relationship sucks because she picked the wrong person. She got married to the wrong person. Now she's upset because she found out the other dude's hot. So she's pissed off. It's bad. I love it though. In fact, the last episode of this season actually came out. So if you want to binge it, now's the perfect time. The last episode just came out today. Oh, wow. And I cannot watch the way because it's basically the getting married part isn't set in stone.
Right.
So to make the show even worse, like people say they're gonna get married, but there are people that are probably gonna get left at the altar in this show at the end of it.
It's just so sad sometimes when you think it's just like, oh man.
I think I watched the first season of that, and it was pretty like it's hard to put down.
It's hilarious.
It's just so weird and so awkward because how I mean, I'm single. I would never, I would never in a million years do this.
I would never.
I don't care how desperate you are. This is crazy. It's insanity.
But I think you got to remember with this show and others, like if they get married at the end or whatever, they probably get like.
I was like, do they get money?
They probably get money based on how well they do in the show or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, if they are likable on screen, if they have a couple on screen, they're probably gonna get famous and like their Instagram is gonna be popping. They're gonna get endorsements, celebrity deals.
We did.
I would just be too afraid.
Who's to say who
of being
real?
Like acting like the only sane person there?
Yeah, right.
Just be like, what are you talking about? You fucking idiot.
But that's what sucks too, because those people just disappear. Like if you don't there's plenty of people. The thing is, most of these people don't end up getting engaged. So probably most of these people get on here and then they're like, what the fuck is this, man? These people are crazy. What's wrong with you people? And they leave. So then it ends up being like, 4 or 5 couples. And it's like, damn, so you don't even get put on like the TV show if you decide to be a sane person. So basically,
it's like you gotta act out of the box.
It's to your it's better for you to be more like, hell yeah, I'm gonna find the first person and I'm gonna propose to her day one. Let's go. Because of course people are gonna love that. They're gonna eat that shit up.
Right.
It's bad.
Man, yeah,
I love it.
I remember when you started that first season, I got sucked into. I started watching that shit with you. I was like, oh man,
it was crazy finding out all those people from Atlanta. I thought that was pretty funny.
Right? Yeah, we're like, we could find them. Very nice.
So that's my thing.
That's cool. I watched something too. It was slightly different, I would say. There's no marriage in it, but it was a series that I watched. It's a limited series. It just came out.
Is it more Elmo?
It is not more Elmo.
I forgot about that.
Fuck you, Elmo rocks hard.
He does.
No, this movie is called this TV show, Inventing Anna. It's on Amazon. No, what is it? Netflix.
I've been hearing things about this, but I'm not sure what it's about. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a new Shonda Rhimes series. It's a limited series, so I don't think there's going to be a season 2 or anything.
You piqued my interest, nice. Shonda Rhimes.
I know. Yeah. It's got an interesting style, I would say. But yeah, it's based on a somewhat true story. They start off every episode that says this is based on, or this whole series or episode, everything you're about to see is based on real events and is 100% true. And in parentheses, except for the things that are completely made up or something. So it's like completely like ridiculous things that are happening, and most of them are probably true, but they're embellishing with like fluff and a little bit of drama. But on paper, like this crazy thing happened. This woman comes to America and she's I think German, and she's claiming to be like this German heiress, who her dad is like this bazillionaire. They have huge like historically family wealth, and so you're just like getting to befriend people with powerful like money or powerful positions. She's going to hotels and like just checking in and making herself known. Hey, I'm an important person. I have a lot of money. My family has a lot of money. She would flash a lot of cash so people would just like, believe her. And then she starts like trying to raise money, get a loan from this bank to start like a club or like a venue where you could like have art galleries and like meetings with people. I don't know, like I guess a bar as well. I don't know. It's just this huge club.
I'm not rich enough
foundation.
To know what you call those things.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around it. She started raising money, or not raising money. She's applying for like this $20 million loan. to buy this building and start this foundation at this this
boy.
museum, basically this art gallery foundation. And she's just kind of schmoozing and talking her way, because you come to find out that she's not entirely who she says she is. It doesn't seem like she has any actual money. Like she has like money up front from like weird things, or she seems to have cash, but as soon as that runs out, she like won't pay bills and stuff. Like just finds ways to talk her way out of things, throw a little bit of cash at it, but the overwhelmingly like the amount of like debt she becomes responsible for is like not entirely handled, and it just kind of she ends up
not entirely handled.
Not
right.
entirely
Iris would love
handled,
that.
yeah. She gets other people involved. She makes a lot of friends and burns a lot of friends, and it's a tangle web story that we're being told through the eyes of several different people that she interacted with. This journalist is writing a paper about her because she gets arrested, and she's like, there's this huge trial. I think there are a lot of like memes that came up about her.
The story sounds familiar.
This all happened really recent, like in 2017, I think.
Mm-hmm. The story sounds super familiar.
Yeah, it was like shortly after Trump got elected, all this stuff started happening.
Now, just to make sure, she's a white lady, right?
Yeah, she's a white lady. Yeah.
Okay. The power. So this show is about the power of being a white woman.
But it's also about immigration. Like it's a little bit deeper than that.
That's interesting coming from Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, her name's Anna Solkin, and she's impersonating somebody named Anna Delvey.
Yes, I do remember that story. Yes, I remember when that first blew up.
You can Google her name and probably see a lot of interesting articles.
It's crazy the things that she went through too. Well, I guess you know because you watched the show now. But it's crazy some of the things that she was able to get away with. Just by confidence is key, man. As long as you like you belong places.
Right?
It kind of reminded me it takes you a while to like fit all the pieces together, and it's still like worth watching, even though I'm like cluing you into some things. But just the way that she went about things is like a mystery for sure. So I would highly recommend it. The ending was a little bit upsetting just because it's like a real life story, and which they just kind of ended with the last couple of facts that they had, I suppose. So it was just like a little bit underwhelming, but the whole like journey leading up to it was really
Shonda ain't never have to finish anything before, so this is new to her. So give her a break. This is the first thing she's ever finished in her life.
Oh, it's so true. How many episodes was it?
It was very cool. It was 9 episodes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll probably give it a watch. I was actually super interested in that because I was interested when it was actually going on. I thought that was a super cool story.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Check it out.
Nice. Well, that does it for this episode, listeners. We hope you enjoyed it. You can email us at thefortressof@gmail.com, Fortress spelled F-O-U-R. Feel free to send us any emails or questions or recommendations or feedback or anything of the sort. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Fortress of, as well as the Fortress of YouTube channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Give us 5 stars on anything that you listen or see us on.
Anything and everything.
Hand us a $5 dollar bill on the street if you walk up by us.
Yeah, I could use a $5 dollar bill.
You know, whatever you want. A nickel's cool too. Anything with 5.
I was gonna say something about a stripper. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one alone. Anyway.
Wow. Well, if you guys want to follow me, you can check me out on Instagram. My name is Peterson Films. You can also look at my website, petersonfilms.com, if you're interested in any of my cinematography or seeing what I do for a living. Check me out. It's Peterson spelled with an E, by the way.
Hell yeah. You can follow me on Facebook at ITZ, by the way. Or you can also follow me on Instagram at ITZ_, by the way. Or you can follow me on twitch.tv, which someday I'll stream again, at by the way X.
Who's got something for Devin?
It's Devin. So, like, I'd, like, go outside a lot. And I also, like, I'm always gone every weekend because I'm just so extroverted.
Follow Devin at Arthur the Aardvark because he's been replaced.
He's been replaced with DW, boys.
Thank you, Brian, for the arts. Thank you, Alex, for the music. Devin, thank you for being here. Usually, we love you. We miss you. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Happy holidays, everyone. And put a coat on. It's cold out there.
Shorts.
All right, we'll see y'all next week in another episode of the Fortress of